Let's see. I'm gonna give it a little time. Maybe we are not live. Maybe we are. We're 100%. But if we're live, that's awesome. Let's check. Let's go really quick. Look at what we're doing. I got some good news, folks. By the way, this is your host, Mike Pugh of the Virtual Intel channel, and we should be live currently. I got some good news. I got my old phone working. My old phone. It's a Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, and the beauty of having it working with what I have already, I have an iPhone X as well. It's going to be helping me today. But the beauty of having this one working is that I can use two smartphones at once, and I can be testing, see what's going on my YouTube channel with my Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. I don't know if y'all folks can hear me that well. If you can't, I apologize. But I believe I am live. Yes, this is officially live. This is awesome. Alright, so what I'm using my iPhone X, and also in conjunction with the FaceCap app. And what I'm attempting to do is to create some tests for what I call the rapid frame technique. I'm trying to create voice overs for this character. I haven't given her a name pretty much. I think I'm going to name her by another character that I gave a name to recently, named Atori. Very similar to Atari, but taking out the A and just calling her Atori. I think that's a good name for her. I think I would be using that in the future. We will see. So I'm also I'm just giving credit to all the tools that I'm using. I'm using what is known as the Human Generator add-on. This is the add-on in action. And to see that, I'll show you folks during this actual live stream. I'll show you the website for the tool and pretty much some basic stuff about it. Now you can't see the Apple ARKit in action, so I may decide to maybe show it to you a different form. I don't know. I have the Apple ARKit in action using my iPhone X through the FaceCap app, and what I'm going to be doing is extracting my facial motion, utilizing it. So to do that, I need to do some things. Hold on one second. I'm gonna throw on a light. If I can get a light to kind of give me a better view of my face and head, to get more accuracy on the blend shapes. Hold on one second. I should have had this ready, but you know, with live sometimes you might forget certain things. And like I said, I apologize if my audio is not that loud. If I have anything going on crazy in the background, it's because I'm trying to get my lamp. I have a lamp over here. Trying to get the power cord for the lamp. I don't know what happened to it. And I dropped my phone. Sorry about that. But nothing's going to be 100% perfect. We will have some technical difficulties when you're setting up stuff. So most definitely, if you're doing it live, I dropped my water. I dropped my my smartphone. I dropped a lot of stuff. And the reason is because I have an actual head mount kind of set up for my iPhone X, and my iPhone X was tied to kind of like the head mount thing. It's not really a head mount, it's like I don't know what they call it, an iPhone stand or something like that, or a phone type of a tripod kind of thing. It's not really a tripod. So let's see if I can get this light over here to provide me some lighting in the background. All right, that worked. I apologize. What you're staring at here in the front of the screen is known as MorphVOX Pro. So this is going to help me with the voiceover deal. I'm going to try to create a female voice. I recently contacted them. I want to see if I can become more of a affiliate slash maybe they can sponsor my videos and I can get the usage of it 100% free. We'll see what we can do. I've done that with many other tools, and that's more of the side of, you know, if you're trying to become a YouTuber and you want to do deals with different companies and stuff, sponsored deals or whatever, you can do that on the side as a third party transaction. And it's very similar to getting paid for putting up videos, basically. And in some partnerships, you do actually get paid for putting up videos. But in this case, I'm not looking for payment. I'm just looking to get some sort of maybe a free usage or affiliate usage. Actually, affiliate usage is a form of payment, but that will come based on whether somebody chooses to purchase the tool. But currently, I'm not an affiliate of them, so that's why I was putting out that information, because it's important for YouTube to know as well. So this is not a sponsored video, pretty much. For those who are YouTube admins who may filter through from time to time, video to video, this is not sponsored. Hold on, let me drink this. I'm heavily armed with water, H2O, so I could actually do this live stream without too much vocal disturbances with my voice, because your voice box will tend to get thrown off. So let's see. Optional settings. It says echo cancellation. Please check this if you don't have a headset microphone. Alright, so I don't have a headset microphone, actually. I do have AirPods, but I don't think they count. So I'm not going to be using my AirPods. It says this feature may reduce the audio quality. I'm not worried about that too much, 100%. So let's see what else it says. Now I'm using this because I want to, like I said, create a female voice for my character. So that's what this whole live stream is all about, is creating voices for your characters besides the 3D modeling side and the animation side. Obviously, I'm not a 3D modeler, nor am I a 3D artist by design. I don't create my own stuff 100%. So that's why I'm using software that does most of the work for me. So I'm using the Human Generator add-on, like I said. That got me the character known as a Tori that I just gave a name for. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to keep that name, like I said. But yeah, now that I'm losing my voice because of doing this talking, even though I haven't talked that long yet, this might turn into like a 2-hour, 3-hour live stream. I'm not sure. Depends on what happens through the live stream, but I tend to do 2 hours to 3 hours every now and then, and I'll try my best not to go that far, but we'll see what we could do. It's not going to be too much 3D modeling and animation in the video. It's going to be more like setup things that I'm doing for how to get this all synchronized, how to get the lip sync working using the Apple ARKit. That's the other tool that I'm using. And the Apple ARKit is tied to the Human Generator add-on, as well as being tied on the other side, which is through the FaceCap app. So if all those software are available and they're working in conjunction with whatever you're trying to set up as your 3D pipeline, so to speak, on Blender, everything is working through Blender, by the way, and I forgot to mention that Blender is the major league element slash tool slash 3D software that you're going to use to do all of this building up process, so you can get your 3D character or 3D avatar working. So all right, let's finish what this is saying here. It says set all programs to use MorphVOX or to use MorphVOX by assigning default microphone to Scream B audio driver. So that's really important. I didn't know that, but now I do. So I will set all programs to use the MorphVOX by assigning default microphone to Scream B audio. Okay. Well, that would probably mean that I have to change OBS Studio, but I'm not worried about that right now. I'm just functionally, I'm worried about my computer per se and the default settings for my computer audio. So what I'm going to do is see how I have it set up over here. We're going to go down. I'm using Windows 11, by the way, so we're going to go to more volume settings. And I'm going to look to see what's available here. We got AMD high definition audio device. We got Realtek digital output. And it just went away. I don't know why I did that, but we'll bring it back. I didn't tell it to go away. It just went away by itself. All right, here we go. We got microphone, Irwin, webcam. That doesn't work for some reason. I switched my computer up, and for some reason that webcam through a smartphone thing doesn't work. Let's do this microphone Screaming Beat audio. Let's select that, and that will be the default as my system sound. Hopefully the audio is not going away for my live stream. Let's see. I'm talking right now. I'm just testing to see on my smartphone to see if the audio is going away. Hold on one second. Just waiting for it because it's a little delay in between. I'm just testing right now. All right, I think it's good. Cool. So as long as my live stream is not messed up while I'm doing this setting adjustment, I think I'll be all right. All right, let's hit the X. So we got that assigned. I think that assigns it as the default through Windows 11. So we're gonna hit next, but we're gonna make sure that we're gonna go with echo cancellation because I don't want to have an issue with the fact that I don't have a headset. So we're gonna hit next, and then it says please choose your microphone from the list of devices. If you have a USB microphone, you will need to manually select it here. We're gonna go to the blue snowball. This is my microphone that I have, USB microphone. And then please choose the headphones or speaker where you want MorphVOX to output sound. Now, like I said, I wish I could use my AirPods, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna leave this as a default playback, and that should be fine. My AMD high definition, I guess, audio driver. And then driver mode, Windows audio session. What is this? Yeah, we'll leave it the way it is. I'm not going to mess with that. So we're going to hit next. And then it says voice profiles are a good way to save and organize the voice learning results of different people. So voice profile, I'm just going to call it Mike. That's me. All right. And no description. I'm going to call it me. That's it. All right, so we're gonna hit next, and then it says press record and read the words from the prompt screen. The words will highlight green if your volume is correctly set. So it says press record. What is the airspeed of a fully laden swallow? All right, that worked out. So we're gonna go next. It says the audio level is good, and the software crashed. That's not good. Let's see what happened. Where did it go? Nobody knows where. Here goes the original Atori ATORI. Let's see. What happened, man? What happened, MorphVOX Pro? Why'd you disappear? That was pretty crazy. So I'm using an actual what do they call it, a sample version, or more like a trial version. So let's go to continue. We have I didn't even see the version. It's like 5 point something. Let's hit next. I did all of this. Echo cancellation, this, that. Let's see if it doesn't work. Shut this audio down. Sorry about that. I have probably a voice echo of my voice in the background. I don't know. Let's hit next. I'll actually put me again. Hopefully it doesn't crash again. If it does, I'm gonna cancel this whole thing. Let's record. What is the airspeed of a fully Latin swallow? Stop. I don't want to hear it. It says voice level is not good. Let's go back. Maybe because I didn't change something. All right, we got to change this to blue snowball. Hit next. And also maybe because I'm using my microphone as what do they call it? An OBS Studio live stream tool. Maybe that's an issue too. Let's hit this. It's good. Hit next. All right, it worked this time. Test summary, voice analyze 6. No recommendations at this time. We're gonna click next. MorphVOX is now optimized to your voice. Please press finish. Okay. You heard that, right? Go to woman voice. Hi. Why is it echoing? Go to tweaks. Shift, pitch. Run voice doctor. Take off the morph. Hello? Put on the morph. Shut off listen. Okay, there we go. Alright, sorry about that, folks. So we having some sort of a echo issue. Sounds like with the voice modulator / voice changer. And I did watch a tutorial, but I didn't really, how would you say, absorb every single thing that the person said in the tutorial for it. Let's maximize the view, by the way. So let's see, voice effects. This is the tweak, which I have no idea what to do with it. I'm gonna learn this thing for sure. Let's see, voice effects. Breathy. All right, I think this is where he went. I don't want the echo. So why does it have an echo? I don't know. Can I get rid of the echo? That's the question. If I get rid of that echo, I think it's gonna sound really good. So far it's on breathy, I think. So I just now took that off. Let's see what it sounds like. Mic check. Still has that weird echo stuff. Let's turn it on. Mute. Okay, mute basically shuts it totally off. Okay. Let's see. Vocal track effects. Go to sound effects. Run voice doctor. Let's try to run the voice doctor and see what it does. Next, find default echo cancellation. So please check if this feature may reduce the audio quality. I tried the echo cancellation and it didn't work. Let's uncheck it and see what it does. Hi. All right. I saved the changes. Sorry, I saved the changes to the voice, but for some reason the voice is still acting kind of weird. I don't want to see this color blasting, whatever this is very disturbing to my eyes. I'm pretty sure it's disturbing to y'all folks. So I don't know about that thing there. Background. What is that? Oh, this is like sounds in the background. Background sound of a city street or something like that. That's interesting. Yeah. Voices. It shouldn't have that kind of echo, man. That's kind of crazy, actually. I don't know why it sounds like that. But I am using the woman profile or default. The maybe I should go into the tutorial. That way I could bypass all the time it's gonna take to figure that thing out. I could also play with this here, but I don't know what it's gonna do. Hi. Hi. Whoa. 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 Hi. 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 All right. See. What? Hi. 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 Okay. That echo is killing it. I don't like the echo at all. I don't know what's going on with that voice echo. That is nuts. Why would they put such a crazy echo in it? Maybe the echo is from the trial version or something like that. I don't know, man. That don't sound right. We're going to the microphone. Let's see what we could do with this microphone. Sound threshold, voice pickup, high, full spectral sound, sound quality, script box integration, echo cancellation. All right, I just activated that. Hit yes. Mic check. Okay. What is this exclusive control?
Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. That doesn't do anything. Sound quality. Hi. Hi. Hum reduction. Hi. Script box. Yikes. Script box integration. Take that off.
This Intel Evo laptop gets it done.
Mic check. Mic check. Still has the echo. Wow. It's probably echoing because my microphone's right next to it. That's probably why they're trying to mic check.
Leave echo cancellation. Background cancellation, sound threshold. Yeah, see, the background cancellation should be on. Unvoiced parsing beta, voice pickup. Try that. What is that? Mic check. That doesn't do anything. Okay. All right. So at this point, we should be able to record. Here it goes. Record voice. Okay. Mic check, testing 1 2 1 3. I'm just trying to create a recording to see how my voice sounds. That sounds good, but that's not the female voice. Let's hit next. Let's preview the audio. Mic check, testing 1 2 1 3. I'm just trying to create a. What in the world? I'm not getting anything. Oh. Okay, let's do this. I think I know why that's happening. We're gonna mute the volume so we don't hear it through the speaker. There we go. Let's go back and record again, but we're gonna go to listen. So listen. Right? Do it that way. Now let's record voice. Let's see what it sounds like. I am testing to see if this voice changer is actually going to sound great or not. It didn't do anything. Let's hit next. I am testing to see if this voice. We're gonna stop. We're gonna go next. Let's see what it did. Choose the setting for morphing and destination file. Okay. Output format. Select the destination file. Let's choose where we're going to send it to. I'm going to send it to an audio file on my computer. Go up. Go to music. This is all the stuff that you're basically going to have to go through when you're trying to create stuff on your computer, obviously. So I'm showing y'all folks from scratch everything that I do. So we're gonna go, this is file name. We're gonna call it morph test. Oops, sorry about that. Test 1. Save. We're gonna click next. Now I'm assuming it's gonna apply the voice. We're gonna hit next. This morphing file, let's play it.
I am testing to see if this voice changer is actually going to sound great or not. We're testing the voice quality just to see what's going on with this voice changer pretty much. And so that we can apply it to our character we're trying to animate. Let's see if this test works.
Wow. That worked great. See, so you can't really tell what it sounds like when it's playing through your computer. And that's the problem. See, so it's not a major league issue. You have to put it through the whole morphing computation, I guess, which is what I just did, in order for you to see how it actually sounds in real time to you. The thing is that when you're having it listen, you have that little on button that I just had. When you're having it on, it's actually feeding back through the microphone, so it's causing some sort of a feedback issue. So that echo that you're hearing is not an actual echo that's going to come through once you have it off. So when I mean by off, I mean the speaker. So make sure you shut off your speaker while you're talking and you're doing your recording, so you don't have any feedback going through your microphone. That's what I recommend. If you do it any other way, then you're probably going to have issues, I believe. So I just proved to myself, and most definitely I know now that this software is pretty powerful. I didn't know it was this good. So I'm definitely going to make the purchase, or if they choose to become an affiliate with me, and or like, you know, partnership or whatever, I probably can use this software for free in the future. But then again, you know, I'm going to be doing sponsored videos to show folks how to use it, slash also as an, you know, more like a promotional. So I'll put it in my videos when I start doing videos, if they become partners with me. So that is dope. It worked. We're going to click finish and see what this launch file player does. So shut that off. Whoa, that was the best voiceover change that I've ever done, ever before. So what I'm going to do, since I know it works that way, I'm going to set it up so that, let's go back to Blender. And we're going to now move into the transition of the ARKit stuff that I have all set up. Now, if y'all folks never seen the Apple ARKit tutorial that I have for the human generator add-on, I'll go over to my YouTube channel just to suggest it to y'all folks, but I'll put the link in this video's description area. So you can check the video description area and you can go obviously to the video. To know how to do the adjustment like he did, I really didn't do the adjustment. I erased it after I tried, because obviously it didn't make a difference on my end when I was testing it through my speaker. So what I did, I restored the voice. I don't know if y'all folks saw that part, but I restored it. So it doesn't necessarily have to be adjusted much for it to sound like a real girl, as y'all folks saw. But like I said, you have to definitely get rid of that feedback. So shut off your speaker that you're playing it through, and don't test it that way. Just go straight through to record without the speaker being on. And other than that, you should work it out. You should be able to work the way it's intended, hopefully. But this channel is Cinder Wolf, and this is the channel responsible for that tutorial. So if you want to check out his tutorial, it may apply as well based on your setup. I'm not sure 100%, but I didn't need to use it. So let me just tie that into my live stream real quick, just so I can remember it. I like to do that while I'm doing my live streams. That's why sometimes my live streams could be a little bit extra long, but I like to do everything while I'm doing live, because that's just the way I do things. So let's see, we're gonna jump into this video real quick, hit the pause, and then go and edit the video. This is the live stream video, by the way. So let's go in and drop his video in there. So I'm gonna put, what was the channel's name? Hold on one second. Cinderwolf. And we'll type that in there. Cinderwolf channel. Since I chose to use his information / his tutorial video, and even though I was just hearing it in the background, hold on one second. I didn't copy the URL. Hold on one second. I think this is the same one here. So I think all I have to do is copy that. So let's try that in another video URL, paste it, and yes, that's it right there. So I'll just copy that and bring it to here. Okay, so this video is going to be available once the live stream is completed. It's when the live stream is finished, it's going to be available, so you'll be able to utilize the links and stuff like that. I also have the human generator add-on link and Blender's link, as well as the what is it, MorphVOX Pro, so you can get that voice changer. And like you heard, man, that was pretty powerful. Like I never heard of a voice sounding that great for a voice changer. I've tried many different voice changers, but this is the best one so far. So that's probably why it was on the list from Filmora, the Filmora website. So it's filmora.wondershare.com. I'll put this in the link as well, so you can try other voice changers for the best male to female voice changers of 2022. There's a whole bunch of other ones. I've tried Voice Mod. I really didn't like it much. I didn't try Voxel, or VOXAL. I've tried Clownfish, but I haven't figured out how to make the voice sound like a human, a human's voice. I believe I found someone who sounded really rude and obnoxious, and I didn't want to use his video regarding voice changing and stuff. But he said he made a video on how to use Clownfish. But I would recommend just going and search on YouTube and just scramble around and try to find out of all the different videos which one works best for you. That's how I do a lot of stuff. I just keep looking through the same topic on YouTube and just go crazy until I find the one that works. In this case, it didn't work that way. In this case, I looked up on Google. Fake voice I never tried. Audacity I used, but I never used it for a voice changing purpose. I use Audacity for everything else. Like for lip sync, I use it when I'm trying to create lip sync, and I'll show y'all folks in this video, this live stream video, how I'm gonna lip sync what I choose to test as a voiceover for my 3D avatar, Tori. So yeah, here goes Wondershare, Filmora. They also have a voice changer, which I did not know. But I guess that's why they showing their competitors, which is pretty interesting. Never saw a website / tool actually document their competitors and put themselves at the bottom of the list. That's pretty crazy. But that just shows you the integrity of the tool. So whoever documented it and detailed it, they probably put it in a, from high performance level to the lowest performance level, from 1 to 9. So they probably listed it that way. That's what I'm assuming. If not, they just put it at random, and those really good ones ended up at the top by chance, or just the laws of probability of whoever wrote this stuff selected it by chance, maybe. I don't know. But I'm assuming that the best voice changer started out as number 1, and then went down in descending order to number 9. So yeah, I never used GarageBand. I may try that in the future as well, just to see if it works for voice changing. I'm not sure if it's gonna work or not. We'll see. So let me throw that. Oh, hold on one second. Here, gonna be Filmora. What's the title of the page? So we'll do this for shits and giggles. Pretty much we'll just use the title so that YouTube could detect it in my whatever, what do they call that, SEO. So the SEO on YouTube, the algorithm can detect what I put in there, and maybe I'll get more views for that. I don't know. People do all kinds of stuff to get views on YouTube. I'm not looking for views, I'm just looking to help people. So here we go. Let's go with this. If it gets to more people, that's great. That's where y'all folks come in, where you can pass it on and share it to other people if you think it's going to help them or whatever the case may be. Social sharing, etc. Let's see. Playlists. Playlists. We're going to put it in film development. For sure, it's something that you could use for film development and animation as well as Blender. So yeah, I'm going to save that. Okay, that's saved. And so then at that point, oh, talking about animation, if y'all folks want to learn some animation, yo, this guy is pretty dope. I'm in my promotional mode right now, so I want to promote certain stuff. This channel called Eric Picot. I don't really know how to pronounce his name, but I'll put it in my video, because in my video's live stream description, because this guy, he's pretty dope. His channel is no joke. Hold on one second. I just put the wrong URL link. I wanted, hold on one second. I just want his name. I'm telling you folks, I watched his video, that video there. What's the title of that video? I don't even know. The title is Character Intro Animation in Blender. And he put spline and polishing full process. Yo, this guy can do some amazing, more like cartoony slash, how would you say, like superhero type of animations. If you watch this, you'll be blown away. It's almost 3 hours long, but it's worth every second, every millisecond to watch. Because what he's doing, he did more of a, how would you say, a time elapse. So it was more like 8 hours to 9 hours of his performance. I don't know how slow he slowed down the screen, or how fast, I meant to say, how fast he sped up the screen. So it's showing a time elapse of all his different work that he was doing to create this animation with this character. But it is no joke. I watched it and I was like, whoa, what in the world? I didn't even know people could animate like that on Blender. But he's pretty good. He's the real deal. So it's P2 Design. I guess that's his channel, but it doesn't actually show as his channel name. So his channel name is PIERRICK dash or space PICAUT. I'm gonna subscribe to his channel, which I never did, and I'm also going to put all for his subscriptions. So I want to see all of his stuff, because yo, I was inspired and that was just mind-blowing. This character that he created right here, I'm assuming he's a real animator. I'm not a real animator. I'm a student in animation, by the way. So let's go. We're gonna collect his channel and put, hold on one second, let me get rid of this one. I don't know what that one is. Oh, that's the tutorial for something else. And we're going to pull this up. All right, so that's the link to his channel. Hopefully y'all folks can get something benefits from that, beneficial. So we're gonna save that, and other than that, we're done. We're gonna go out, and now we're back to Blender. Usually I start off my live streams on Blender when it deals with Blender, but as y'all folks saw, I started it out on MorphVOX Pro because it's responsible for her voice right now. I'm going to be bringing that voice that y'all folks heard to her lips at this stage in reference of the live stream. So give me a chance. I'm going to take a little break and drink some water, and we'll jump in. It's going to be maybe about 10-second break. All right, that's good enough. I got a good break. I don't know if y'all folks needed a break, but I got a really good one. If you need to go to the bathroom, this is probably a good time, because this is the boring part. Nah, I'm just kidding. So, the Apple ARKit, how does it apply to the Human Generator add-on? Most people, from when they first got the Human Generator add-on on their computer, they probably don't realize that they can use an iPhone X, an iPhone 11, an iPhone 12, or iPhone 13, and whatever future iPhones that they have available, as long as it has what is known as the Apple ARKit software built into it through the depth sensing technology of its camera, then it should be able to pull off what I'm going to do here. If you don't know anything about the Apple ARKit, it would behoove you to look it up, because that software was actually somewhat, I call it stolen, but Apple bought it out, basically. So if you're super duper rich, you can buy out anything that's going on online or offline, pretty much, and take ownership of it. So I look at it as it was stolen from the original creators of the technology. So let's type in Apple ARKit. Like I said, this is the boring part, but hey, for some people, it may not be that boring. Let's see. ARKit. Look that up real quick. All right. So augmented reality / ARKit. That's what is showing up here in the developer.apple.com website URL. So it would behoove you to learn what this is all about. Look it up, dig into it, find out as much as you can that relates to the Apple ARKit. Just learn more and more and more. The more you know, the better. Let's see. There is what is known as blend shapes or shape keys that is in relation to the Apple ARKit, but I don't see it here. So we will look for more information to find out. We'll go and type in Apple ARKit blend shapes. Actually, it's right here where it says people also search for on Google. So let's go look up that part, and we're going to select it. The reason why I'm looking up that part is because this is what relates to what we're using on Blender. See how it says blend shape, Blender, blend shape, Blender is kind of like that kind of thing. Blender has the ability and the tooling to handle the blend shapes that the Apple ARKit can produce. What a blend shape is basically a morph of a 3D mesh. So it's taking the 3D mesh and transferring and translating that 3D mesh into a different shape. So the contours of the 3D mesh is basically being manipulated by what is known as a shape key or a blend shape. So you can look up the definition of blend shapes as well, so you can figure that out if you don't know anything about it. But pretty much, it's a nice fancy way of saying you're going to shapeshift or store a shapeshift of a 3D model. So it could be a certain part of the 3D model. It could be the whole entire 3D model itself. It could be, like I said, small segments of it. So what you're seeing here is just certain parts of the 3D model. So the eyebrows, cheeks, and nose. These titles, mouth and jaw. So if you want to look up any of the blend shapes for the Apple ARKit, you just select it, and then it'll bring it up and give you an idea of what that shapeshift was supposed to do. So if, say, you're looking up the eye blink left, say this is the particular blend shape, this is exactly what the transition is on the blend shape. You got the left eye. If you're looking in a mirror, this is what you would see your face as, but so this would make it the left eye, this is the right eye. So the left eye is in the red box, and for a blink, obviously the eye should close shut, right? So that's the shape transition. You go from 0 to 1 in the shape of the blend shape transition. Say it's a blender that you're using, you would create the transition from 0 to 1. So I blink left, 0 would equal open, and 1 would equal shut. So the slider would move from left to right. What's this? Oh, okay. Maybe. So that's basically the premise of how it works to some degree, but in reality on Blender it works a lot more technically, which I could show you that on Blender if I wanted to, but maybe I'll show you. Let's hit the N key just to make the add-on disappear. We'll go to edit mode, and while in edit mode it looks kind of weird and freaky, but don't worry about how she looks. Don't sweat it. You can make her come back by going to object mode. Okay, so the reason why her eyes are kind of shunted down, I guess, is because of the animation. So I can bring up the timeline on the animation and fix that. And her original position of her eyes before it was animated, it was up there, and her head was in a different position. So let's see if we could do that. Let's go to object mode, send her back to her original position, and then go back to edit mode. There you go. See? So now her eyes is in a better position. So it's that kind of thing. I learned all of that over time playing around with Blender, and just every day after day for a few years, maybe 2 or 3 years, eventually you start to realize what you're doing with Blender. It just takes time and, you know, a lot of learning basically. What I'm going to do here, I'm just going to show y'all folks the vertices. So I brought up the overlays. So show overlays. So I'm showing y'all folks what you would see if you was to go in a little bit deeper on Blender and try to manipulate the shape keys. So with reference to what we saw before in the Apple ARKit, which is over here, they focusing on this left portion of the eye socket, so to speak. So we would focus on this side here, and we would have to highlight a specific portion of the shape keys. I mean, not shape keys, of the vertices. So you would highlight all these different vertices that would be responsible for closing shut the eye. So you use like the C key on your keyboard and highlight all those vertices that are responsible. Something to that effect. It doesn't have to be 100% accurate right now because I'm not actually pulling it off, but I'm just showing y'all folks what you would be doing. That's part of the shape key adjustment. And then you would probably like pull the vertices using a drag or something like that. Let's get the pull option showing, or the gizmo showing, and then we'll go to individual origins. And right now we can't see certain things, so we will have to bring up bones, not bones. Let's see, origins, relationship lines. I have certain things invisible right now. Okay, so there goes the controller. Let me hold on 1 second. Make this go away. And go behind it. Right now the eyeball is selected, I think. Make that go away. So there we go. So now we got the controller. We want to make certain things disappear. I'm just going to show you just a brief I guess usage of it. Not really show you everything, but if you learn this already, obviously you would know that you can move the flesh like that to close it, simulate a close, and then you would have to take every little vertex here and then pull them all up to the positions that you wanted them to be pulled up to. I'm just showing you how you can move the vertices, and what that would do would be creating the mesh transition for the shape key. So that's basically what people do with shape keys. They also would have to be in a specific property controller over here. So you have to go to the properties for shape keys. Then you would have to go in and create a shape key for the eyelids and perform that move. Now, the beauty is that it's already created through the Apple ARKit and through the Human Generator add-on. So you don't have to go and manually do all this. I'm just showing y'all folks where the Apple ARKit functionality comes in. So for those who are brand new to understanding the usage of the Human Generator add-on, I just want you to see what you won't get to see. This is the stuff that the 3D modeler has to perform and behind the scenes to develop shape keys and blend shapes and stuff. So they create a shape key over here in the properties module. They would have to hit like plus or whatever. And then once they hit the plus, it creates a name for the shape key. While they're in edit mode, they go and edit it. And then it creates a scale from 0 to 1. And when you move the slider, say this is the value here. If you move the value slider over from 0 to 1, it will show the transition from the original position that the vertices was at to the transition position, which I showed you moving it down. So it will actually slide. When you move the slider, it will start going like this and simulate that it's moving. Create a close of the eye or whatever. So for you to get to see exactly what it would do, hold on one second. Let's go to like a eye changer / slider. So eye squint, eye wide, eye blink. So eye blink left. See how it just closed? So let's see. Actually, we have to go out, I think, to object mode, and then I can activate it. There we go. So the reason why I won't activate in edit mode is because it was programmed by the developer. So the developer pretty much set it so that you can't mess with it. You can't mangle and distort how the Apple ARKit settings was preset at. So if you're the 3D modeler / 3D artist or 3D animator, and you know how to do all of this stuff in terms of creating shape keys, you can program it through the shape key editor and through the tools on Blender so that no one else can mess with it, basically. So if someone else gets the file and they try to manipulate the shape keys how they see fit, they won't be able to, unless they delete everything in general. Even then, you probably could lock it. So I believe that's what they did, so that's why I can't manipulate it. But I just wanted y'all folks to see what you can do. So now that you know that, hopefully you understand how the shape key works. You have to create the shape keys in order for those to work. But in the case of the Human Generator add-on, blend shape / shape keys are automated. So everything is automated. So like I said, let's get to that video that I was going to show you. I forgot to show you the video on my channel, but let's go to my channel. This is a good time to show it. So let's get out of here and bring it up to my channel. And then we'll go to videos and let's see which one it is. This one here, I think. Blender Human Generator add-on ARKit face cap prep. So if you watch this one, I don't know how long it is. It's only 2 hours and 15 minutes. That's not too long compared to my 3-hour videos, but it's good enough information, and it's going to give you every detail that you need to know on how to get the face cap app, to how to get everything working in conjunction with the Apple ARKit, and how to set up your Human Generator add-on so it's applicable and you can apply the Apple ARKit to it. I can give you a quick overview if you already know how to use the Human Generator add-on. We're going to activate the Human Generator add-on now. Again, bring it back up into view. You just go to this little gear icon and then go to developer tools. So developer tools is going to be hidden. So you just click the little arrow for developer tools, and then you select prepare for ARKit. When you select that, make sure that you change this option where it says prepare for ARKit and it has suffix. You change it to FaceCap app or face app. If you don't change it to face app, then it's gonna give you more of a reduced type of animation that you're gonna have to alter and adjust manually. You'll have to provide the head movements and the facial expressions and all that. So it's not going to come out the way exactly how you want it if you don't adjust it there. If you don't adjust this to face app, because then basically the shape keys are not going to be fully projected the way you want it. So talking about the head control, like the head bone and things like that, you have to manually do that as well, but that's just like a follow constraint. So when you're done, let me see if I could bring up the bones. When you're done, you're gonna have a face rig, by the way, so you need to create a face rig before you create the Apple ARKit connections and in conjunction with the shape keys. So you want to have, like I said, you want to have this face rig, and basically once you get all of that done, you get it all set up, your face should be ready and prepped. But what I was thinking of something else. Hold on one second if I can remember. So let's see real quick. You get the face rig up, you got the bones selected. Oh, talking about the head bone, I forgot that part. So with the head bone, you want to go to pose mode and then select the head bone. You want to get the head bone moving. After you get the FaceCap app on your smartphone or whatever, you store the data. You move the data over as a FBX file. You bring it over to Blender. It's going to be sitting all the way down near the feet. So the head is going to come down near the feet. You don't have to move it. I don't recommend for you to move it. Just leave it there. Once it comes down there and you have it, you want to check and find the 3D empties. There's like 3 3D empties that come with it. So you select the one for the head bone that moves it, moves the FaceCap app head that's down there, and you make sure you select the bone first there in the head. So then from selecting that bone in the head of the character, you're going to go down to bone constraints properties and then add bone constraints and then go to copy location. When you do that, this brings up a copy location, so it's going to copy the movement, or actually not copy location. Let's X that out. We're going to copy rotation, my bad. So it's the rotation that you want. You don't care about the location because the head bone is basically going to be rotating in different angles and positions. So you want to copy rotation. What that does is it creates the ability to target that particular 3D empty. And or you probably could just target the head itself, because the 3D empty is driving the head, which the head will be rotating in the same directions and positions that that 3D empty is driving it towards. So it's pretty much the same. So you could use that, but if you can't apply it to the head bone, then apply it to the 3D empty. So you go and select this little eyedropper, you go down and you click it. I'm gonna show y'all folks all of that stuff while I'm doing this, because that's what this video pretty much is all about. I'm just giving you a prerequisite for those who are not brand new to Blender. If they already know how to do this stuff, hopefully that helped you with the head portion. But other than that, that would create everything that you needed. And you got your shape keys working, you got your head bone working, so all your stuff is preset and designated to function the way you want it. The rest of the pipeline would come where you want to synchronize. Say you wanted to perform a lip sync and stuff like that. That's not going to happen until you are done the full animation and you got all of the what do they call those? Shape keys. The shape keys? No, not shape keys. Keyframes. So once you got all the keyframes done, then you're able to do more. So right now I have 0 keyframes. Actually, I have more than 0 keyframes. I have other keyframes. Hold on 1 second. So this character, I did some animations already, and I created facial motion, things like that, off of a reference. She should have a smile in her face. If she doesn't have a smile, it's probably because something was removed when I did the shape keys for the Apple ARKit, which I'm not worried about because I'm gonna apply a simulation of animation using that voice like I was saying. So I'm not worried too much 100% of it lacking certain things. So let's go back, hit the back arrow. Let's see what it does, what it's going to perform in the screen. And right now I'm on Eevee. I'm set at 20 in the render, which is not bad. But I'm set at 20 in the viewport. Set at 2000 in the render. So let me drop that down to 100. This is the sampling rate. So yeah, the only thing that's actually showcased here is the head motion. So the head bone is moving based on how I want it, how I programmed it to move. That's the only thing that's working here. So I'm not worried about that. Let me see if the eyes, are the eyes moving the way I wanted it? Even the eyes are not moving. That's fine. Hold on 1 second. It looks like the eyes are moving a little bit. Yeah, the eyes are moving. That's great. All right. So let me bring back the head bone, or bones per se. Go to object mode, and we're gonna move this over to around 150. So say you're starting from scratch. You at the 0 frame here, and you want to animate based on using the Apple ARKit. So we got the Apple ARKit set up. Everything is done the way I was just showing y'all folks. You change this to Face App, whatever, and you got the Face Cap app on your iPhone X, iPhone 11, iPhone 12, iPhone 13, or it could be in an iPad Pro. You got those type of tools at your disposal, and you got the Face Cap app. We're gonna look up the Face Cap app so folks can see what that should look like. So let's type in Face Cap app. All right, so we got the Face Cap app. Let's bring that up. It's by Banana Flack, and there's a video in there. It shows you about how to use it in conjunction with the iPhone X, I believe. So you want to go and check out all that stuff. Here goes the documentation. You can get it on the Apple Store. So let's look it up on the Apple Store. This is how it looks on the Apple Store. It brings this little head. And this head is really important because he's going to be moved over to Blender. So that was the head that I was talking about that's going to show up where her feet are at once you bring it over. In order to bring it over as a FBX file, you're going to need the Autodesk, hold on 1 second, Autodesk FBX Converter. Why do you need this FBX Converter? Well, you're going to need it because the FBX file type that they actually send from your smartphone to your computer, or you have to send it, I should say, but it sends it from your smartphone to a file on your smartphone. Then you have to redirect it and send it as more of like a export. So you got to export it from your phone over to your computer. That file type doesn't work well. It actually is in, I believe, binary. It's either binary or ASCII. I'm not sure, but you have to convert it to one or the other. I forget. But whatever the case may be, I had it on my computer and I have to do it over again. So I'm showing y'all folks the steps on how to do it. If you have a 64-bit PC as a Windows computer, then you're going to use the latest version, 64-bit. If you have a 32-bit computer, then use the latest version for the 32-bit, which would be probably this one, the lower one. But either way, if you have a Mac computer, you have the different converters here as well. So the one that I just selected wasn't the right one. I had 0.3. I mean, I had 0.2. Let me go for 0.3. So 2013.3. I'm not sure 100% if this is the latest version. Maybe there's more. Let's just see. No, this is the installation. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure. Either way, this one works. So I'm not worried about it too much in terms of it being more recent for 2022. So we'll delete this one and we'll get this one to load up on my computer. I accept, next, install. And the only purpose of this is to convert my FBX file that's going to come out from FaceCap. Would you like to open README file? No. I already know how to use it. Add Explorer Shell extension for ADSK FBX converter. Doesn't matter, whatever. I'm going to put yes. Close. And it should show up on my desktop. We're going to go down to the desktop and look for it. So it's right here, Autodesk Converter. I'm going to double click it and the bad boy is going to run. So we're going to have this sitting in the background waiting for that file. So once that file is on my PC, then I can move it over here and then it will pull off its conversion. So let me see if it shows what type of conversion. No, I don't think it shows what it's going to convert to. But don't quote me on that. I probably just don't see it. But it's going to go from one file and convert to another file type. All right, because Blender only uses a specific FBX file type. If you bring it over to Blender, you go to File and go to Import FBX. Once you try to import it as a FBX directly from your phone without converting it, you're going to notice that it's not going to be able to come through. That's why you need that. So now what we want to do is create a performance on my phone. And I probably wasted a lot of my battery life, which is okay. Now to free up my hand motion, see the whole thing, you want to get something like a tripod or a smartphone, more like a holder. So I'll show y'all folks if I can. I'm gonna bring you to OBS Studio so you can see my camera. And you should be able to see in a second. Let me change my camera device, my recording device. Hold on one second so you can see what I'm holding in my hand. Click OK. And try to ignore all the stuff in my background. This is my room, my house. But here we go. I don't have a green screen, by the way, but this is like a tripod holder connector type of thing. So the tripod connector goes here for a smartphone holder. So it's a smartphone holder. Basically, it will hold from here to here. You can put it in and lock it in. Let me get my smartphone, my Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, and see if it works. If I can get it to work a little bit. If it doesn't work that great, you want to take off your smartphone protector. Whatever smartphone protector type that you have. I don't know. Everybody has different ones. So what in the world is happening? Hold on one second. With the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, you have all these buttons, so you want to move it down. So as you can see, I got my smartphone like this. Now, if you want a vertical one, vertical holder, this one is just a horizontal, more like a landscape mode holder. It's not for portrait mode. So if you want more of the type that I got here, you want to get something like this that you have on your neck, and it holds your phone up vertically from here to here for portrait mode. And that's what you're going to need for the FaceCap app. So Let me show y'all folks real quick the FaceCap app on my phone. Right here. It's not gonna show a face unless it's showing unless I actually have my face in the screen. I don't know if y'all folks could see, but no, you're not gonna be able to see it, obviously. The face only shows up when you have your head in view. So the head, that little 3D head, that gray head shows up, boom, like that. So let me put this back. I'm gonna perform it now. So bear with me. Let me make that go away. Bring this back. I notice I got a spammer on my live stream, by the way, so I'm gonna get rid of that while we're doing this. So actually, hold on one second. I probably can get rid of it on my smartphone, on my Galaxy S8 Plus. Let's see. We're going to report him or her, whoever it is. We're going to go visit the channel first. If you have any problems like that, that's what you want to do. Visit the channel, block the user. There's a little 3 tiny dots on your smartphone in the upper right corner of the actual person's channel who came up with it, with the spam. And we're going to report it. Unwanted commercial, garbage. And that's gone. So now that got reported, hopefully that channel gets removed from YouTube. I do this regularly because I get tired of all the spam that shows up. It's garbage. Alright, so that's that. Adios. And I'm not going to say compadre because you're not my friend. Let's X this out. Alright, so we got the FBX Converter 2013.3 ready. We got the voice changer, modulator changer ready. And what else do we have to have? Let me get rid of this. We don't need that. I'm going to get rid of all the things I don't need so that way I can save up some stuff on my computer and not go crazy where, you know, hopefully the computer doesn't crash through all the stuff that I'm doing. So let me create this performance first. And we will try the voice modulator at the same time. We can synchronize the voice. So we'll start the recording, both recordings at the same time. We'll try to synchronize them. Let's see if we could do that. So that's what I want to do at the very moment because I have everything set up and ready. So we go down to record voice and we're going to press the record on. If I can do it simultaneously, hopefully it works. Here we go. Oh shoot. Nope. That recording didn't work. I didn't realize I have to go to the screen first. Alright, so now we're on the record screen. Let's see, here we go. 3, 2, 1. And work because I had to discard the other one. Oh wow. So let me hit the recording. Okay. So on my smartphone, it says discard previous recording. So I have to hit OK to start the recording. And on this one, I'll just hit the record button when I'm ready. 3, 2, 1. It's done. Let's listen. Hey folks, we are testing the Apple ARKit. All right, we're gonna stop it. So that worked out. We're gonna hit next, and then we don't need no bypass or apply noise reduction. We're gonna hit next, and this is the woman's female voice. We're going to choose what file to send it to. And this one we're going to call, what's her name? Tori test 1. Tori voice, I should say. Tori voice test 1. So this is basically the voice file that I need. So all you got to do, you don't have to use this particular tool, the MorphVOX Pro, but whatever tool that you choose to use for your voice over, that's up to you. Once you create that voiceover, now you should be able to use it when you need it. So the whole key is to synchronize the recording. And you know what I did wrong? I forgot to stop the record player. I forgot to stop the record player. Oh my God. Okay, well, this is just a test. And it's all good. I forgot to stop the record player on my smartphone. So I got a much longer file. And I'm not worried about it. Let's go to export. You should be able to see this. I wish you could see this part, this phase, but you can't. But if you have the FaceCap app, is very simple. You hit the export button after you're done recording. There's what is it? Let's go back. There's 6 different options on the bottom of the screen, besides the blue record button and the preview button on the top. So the export button is somewhat towards the right in the middle between all those buttons. So it's 8 buttons in total. So you tap the export button and then it creates a pre-configured title. You can call it what you want to call it. I'm going to call it the same name that I called her voice, Tori. I'm going to call it test. Actually, face test. Here we go. Face test 1. Okay. And then it says export completed. Use files app to access your data. Now, one of the things I'm going to do is when I go in on Blender, I'm not going to take all the shape keys for this particular file. I'm just going to take a small amount of the shape keys because I ended up doing too much performance. So we're going to go to OK. You'll see what it shows once I bring it over to Blender. Now, in order to get it onto your computer, what you want to do is look up your files on your smartphone. So maybe it's not a smartphone. Maybe it's an iPad Pro. But whatever smartphone that you have for iPhone X, iPhone 11, iPhone 12, or iPhone 13, you want to look up your files. So you go to Files. Let's see, where's my files? Okay, I go to File, and then I go to FaceCap. There's a FaceCap folder, and you should be able to find that FBX file. Now, another thing is, it's going to create an audio file as well. So you can test it both with your regular voice, and you can also use the voice recording that you created off of whatever voice changer that you choose. But as long as you got that outbound file, you should be able to manipulate how she sounds or how he sounds if it's a he. Maybe it's a robot, I don't know. So we're going to go for the FBX. We're going to tap the file. And after you tap the file, you're going to hit the little box that has an arrow on the top of it, which means that you're going to export it or sending it to another folder. What you want to do is try to activate your Google Drive. If you don't have your Google Drive on your smartphone, on your iPhone X or whatever, or all the way up to iPhone 13 or an iPad Pro, then you most definitely want to get Google Drive. If you don't have Google Drive, you can use other file exchanges if you want, but you want to get that file on maybe Google Drive so it's seamless and it's easy to move it onto your computer. Right now I'm tapping the Google Drive icon, and I'm going to upload it to a specific folder there, which I already know. I have animation folders set up, and it's going to go to that file. I'm going to save it, click save here, and then upload. So basically it's exporting it out as an upload to my Google Drive folder. So now I'm going to go to Google Drive. Here we go. Look up Drive. You go to these, 9 little tiny dots in the upper right corner of Google. When you're on Google or any kind of Google platform, it could be YouTube or whatever. Actually, with YouTube, it's going to be YouTube apps, so it's not going. You shouldn't be on YouTube, pretty much. You can be on Google, and then you click this, and then you go to Drive, or you can search it on Google. So mine's is right here. It just came up. So it's Atori Face Test 1. You're going to right click it, and then you're going to download it. So it's going to come in as an FBX file. I'm going to put it in my Atori folder that I created. I believe I have one for her. So let's see what I got. Animations. No, I don't have a folder for her, so I'm going to create a folder for her. I believe I'm storing her somewhere, so let me find out where I'm storing her at, actually. Go to File. Oh, 3 Objects Blender, Rapid Frame Face Staging. Okay, so I don't have a folder for her. I didn't call her anything in my folders. So let me just create a folder for her. Atori. And we'll put animations. Or Atori Anim, short for animation. Double click. And then save. Alright, so once that's in that folder, now what you want to do. Oh, so I don't know if I actually created the full WAV file. It's an actual WAV file, by the way. So we're going to hit next. I'm going to create it. I forgot to do that on MorphVOX Pro to complete it. But let's see what it sounds like.
Hey folks, we are testing the Apple ARKit over on Blender.
There we go. So that's her voice. It sounds kind of funny, but it's all good. We're gonna get out of this. We don't need the actual file player or whatever. We're gonna cancel that and minimize this. So we no longer need that unless we want to do another performance. So now we got that done. We're gonna go to the Autodesk Converter. We're gonna go to Add. We're gonna find that file folder that I created. So hold on one second. 3 Objects, Blender, Animations, Atori Anim, and we're gonna put that file in there. This is an FBX file, by the way, so you go right click just to I'm gonna show y'all folks. But see, it says FBX file, and we can go into more details. But pretty much it's an FBX file. Reason why I'm going here, I just wanted to see if it's ASCII or binary. I think it's probably ASCII. That's probably what it is, and then you got to convert it to binary. I'm not really 100% sure. But some people know what that is. We're gonna cancel that. You don't have to do that. I was just showing y'all folks. It's an FBX file. I'm gonna click open, and this comes from the FaceCap app. All right, so we're gonna convert it. See, it says FBX save mode binary. So yeah, I guess it's ASCII. So that means that this previous file, the one that they sent from the FaceCap app, which has all my facial features restructured as a digital model, off of the Apple ARKit's 52 blend shapes that they use. So all the data points on my face that was tracked through the Apple ARKit software that's built into the iPhone X, it basically tracked my face and placed all of the data into this 3D model. So now the 3D model has all that data in it as an FBX file. So the FBX file is now being converted from ASCII to binary. We're going to click convert. You don't have to do anything here. It automatically goes in. You can select it if you want to select it, because you may have other files in there, and click convert. Once it's converted, it should send it to a particular folder. You can change the destination here where it says change destination folder. So we're going to click that just to see where it sent it to. And I'm going to hit the X because I don't know what it's doing. I never seen that before. So it says completed. So I don't know why I'm having issues. Where did it send it to? I don't know. Probably the same folder. So let's check that folder. And the computer is acting crazy. What is going on? Hold on one second. Oh, I was pressing a button on the screen by mistake. Well, my coat was depressing a button on the keyboard. My fault, folks. So let's go to that folder. I should have had the folder open. I don't know why it's not here, but it's all good. We'll go in and do it again. Blender animations, Atori Anim. Okay, so yeah, it built it into this particular folder. And let's double check in here. This is the face head or whatever. And this is the binary version. Properties. It's still an FBX file, but this is the one that we're going to bring over to Blender. So the one that's sitting in the FBX 2013 folder. The other one, this one here, is the ASCII one. All right, so we're going to go to Blender. We're going to scroll down. This is a very easy process, by the way, folks. And we're going to put in a ground plane so we can see it. So I removed the ground plane, but now I want y'all folks to see where it shows up. So we're going to scroll it all the way down to the bottom. Zoom, move it down and zoom to the bottom, and you're going to see the head show up here. We're going to go to File, Import, FBX, and then we're going to search for that head. So, 3 objects, animations, Atori Anim, not this one. If I try this one, it won't work. We're going to go to this one. Hit Import, and it should show up here. There you go. It shows up like that, and it looks kind of funky and crazy with all of the facial mesh looking weird. Figured out a way to get rid of the facial mesh issues, but I'm not worried about that. That's not what is the main focus here. So we're going to go to View, Frame Selected, and so that way we can look inside the head and we can find what's in it. It has 3D empties built in. And how you can tell, you have one here, you have some other ones. So this one I believe is controlling the head, the other 2 are controlling the eyes. So let me hide the head real quick, and I'll hide the eyes as well. Hold on one second. And now you can see the 3D empties. So these 3D empties that the developers came up with, they are controlling all the different main motions of the eyes and the head. So this is the 3D empty that I was talking about. Now, all you have to do to follow the head is to follow this constraint. Or create a follow constraint, the rotation, and follow this particular 3D empty I meant. So you select the 3D empty like I was showing y'all folks earlier. So that's that. And then in order to utilize the animation, you can select any of the 3D empties or the head. I suggest you selecting the head itself. You're going to get all these shape keys that show up for the full animation. but I think mine's is only going to go up to around 1350. See how I have a little bit more extended out? I'm not sure. So it does all the different performance that I built into it through my performance. Now, you're not going to be able to simulate everything until you move the voice in. So all of that stuff is going to be done in the video editor. But what you want to do, you want to phase it in first. So you want to bring back the head. So we're going to do alternate H. Bring back the head and eyes. I'm just showing y'all folks different staging processes. So you bring back the head and eyes, and you select just the head itself. You take whatever portion of the animatable keyframes that you want. Make sure they highlight it in yellow or whatever highlight color that shows up. You right click it and copy. Once you do that, now you should be able to go to your face mesh of your character. You select the face mesh or the mesh itself. But some characters, the mesh could be divided into different groupings. So you select the mesh, and then you just go and place your keyframes where you want your keyframes to sit at. So let's scroll out, and where I want to put the keyframes is around 150, right around here. And then you right click and paste. And now you should have a fully animated face, but the head bone is not going to be moving. So watch this. Now the reason why I did that is because it reset back to 0. What you have to do is set the timeline where you want to start it at. So mine's is ending around 1350. I already know that. And the start is around 150. So you have to pretty much define your timeline before you start getting all your different animations. So now we hit the play button, and it's going to start at 150. And you should see facial expression changes. As you see, the lips is moving. It's going to smile, going to perform and do stuff, but the head is not moving. So the lack of the head bone moving is because, like I said, you have to go in and you have to put in that follow constraint for rotation of the head bone or the head itself. So let's go back, go to 150. You don't have to slide it yourself. You can just hit the back arrow here. It says jump to endpoint if you wanted to. And hold on one second. I'm gonna move this the thing that I had on my head because it's getting heavy. So we're almost at the tail end of this live stream, by the way, folks. We're coming very close to the tail end, but there's just a little bit more left that we have to do. So we select the head bone. We don't have to select actually the head bone. Well, not head bone, but the 3D head from FaceCap. We have to select the actual head bone itself of the character. I forgot about that. So we go to the bone, we go to pose mode, and the head bone is already pre-selected because I did it before. But if it's not, just left click the head bone. And we're going to go to constraint or add bone constraint, and we already got the copy rotation in there that I did. So all I have to do is select this eyedropper tool and then go select the head. So let's try that and see if it does it. Yep, copy head. All right. And or the 3D empty. That's up to you how you want to do that, but I chose to copy the head just to see what it will do. So we're going to go to object mode, and now we're going to hit play. And now you'll see the full rotations of the head. Now, this is going to phase in the whole lip syncing part because we need to have a lip sync obviously, because the mouth motion and expressions and things like that is not going to do anything unless you get the lip sync going. Now the eyes, I don't know if the eyes are animating. So if the eyes are not animating, you can go and look up those constraint. You can do those same kind of follow constraint rotation with the eyes, the eye bones, and using the 3D empties for the eyes. But I think the eyes is moving. I'm not sure 100%. And at this time, this is a good point to actually save. So I'm going to save this. We'll do save as, and we'll call it face anim 2. Actually, we'll bring this to a folder. So we'll call it Atori anim 1, actually, and find that folder for her. There we go. We're going to save this because I don't want to lose all this stuff. If Blender crashes at this point, I don't want to lose all the progress, because then it's going to be very hard to recreate everything from scratch. So now we got that working. We got everything else working. So now we want to phase in, like I said, the lip sync. So how do you do that? So what we're going to do, we're going to start a whole new Blender, right click on Blender, and start a new iteration of Blender, or a new session, Blender session. Why you want to do that? Well, because you don't want to mess up that previous session that you had. You could use the previous session if you wanted to, but I like to do it this way just to separate them, just in case if one can cause an issue with the other. What you want to do is go up in the upper area to File, go to New, and go to Video Editing. When you're in the video editor, this is a great time to pull off a lot of different things. So in the video editor, what you're going to need, what's required, is an image sequence. So what you will think that you need to click image, but you don't. You have to click add and then go to image sequence. You click and select image sequence, and then you find the renders that you created for it. I did not create the renders for it. I'm just showing y'all folks the step that you have to do. So that's pretty much how you get the lip sync to synchronize. But first you have to obviously create the render for it. So we're going to do a test render for her, and we're going to try to keep it at the minimal level of render so we can do it live. So we'll go back, actually get rid of one of the old renders. I was just testing to see how her face would look while I'm rendering. So we're going to move the playhead back to 150. Make sure our timeline is set from 150 to wherever you want it to render to. We also want to get that audio file. The audio file, let me bring you back to the other version of Blender, other session. The audio file could be added as well. So you go to add, and then you go to sound. We can do that right now. So we go to sound, and we find where we put the audio file at. So that particular audio file I put in music and a Tory voice test 1.wave. So we're going to move that over, hit add sound strip, and that's going to pretty much add the sound strip for the audio file. Now we will try to figure out how to fit in the animation to it based on the full length of it. It says 1090. I don't know if that's in reference to the amount of keyframes that it will go all the way out to. The thing with the video editor is that it doesn't show a reference in keyframes for the timeline. So I don't really know if it's at a specific keyframe with respect to flipping back to the other session and where the keyframes end, because the keyframes end at 1350. It starts at 150. So it's in a total, if you subtract 1350 from 150, it's in a total of 1200 keyframes. but that audio file actually I had it stop before the animation stopped because I made an error, like I said. So we're gonna have to do like a guesstimation of the animation. So all we want to do is animate from 150 to 1300. So it's gonna create 1200 keyframes for now. So what we're gonna do is go to Viewport render, and we want to reduce everything in the viewport down to the bare minimum. So we just hit the N key on the keyboard, the T key on the keyboard to make that go away. Those two different controllers or whatever. It's like a module here on the left and the right, one controlling the tools, one controlling the add-on. And then we also hid the overlays. So you click this overlay button in the upper right corner, towards the upper right, and also the tool gizmo. We get rid of all of that, hide all that. And then we go to view and go to viewport render animation. That will allow you to basically create a test render of the viewport. But before we do that, we want to check and see the viewport settings for sampling. So the viewport settings for sampling, I have it set at Eevee. Eevee is the render engine. You don't want it in cycles if you're doing test renders, obviously, because it's going to take longer in cycles. It's going to be higher quality, obviously, if you set the sampling rate high, but it's going to take forever compared to Eevee. And even if you set them at the same sample rate. So Eevee is a real-time render engine, so sampling it is going to go very fast. So I'm going to set it at 10 in the viewport. I'm doing a viewport render, by the way, like I said. So this should happen very quick. So go view, viewport render animation, and that should blast through. Oh, hold on, let's X this out. I forgot to tell you something, my fault. When you're doing that, you want to look at your frame rate as well. So that sampling rate, don't get it confused with frame rate. So my frame rate is at 24 frames per second, which is okay, but I don't know the frame rate, frames per second, for the actual head. So the head was probably moving at 30 frames per second when it was over on face cap. So I'm going to start at 30 frames per second. The reason why I want to set this is because the audio file is moving at a certain frame rate as well. So I believe the audio file was moving at 30 frames per second. I'm not sure. But this is really important in terms of your timing, because then your lip sync is going to be offset. It's not going to be actually accurate. So your lip is going to be moving faster than the audio or slower than the audio, depending on where your frame rate is set at. The other thing is, where are you sending your animation to? That's another thing. So I just now screwed up an animation that I currently had built in, which I'm not worried about it because they're all test animations anyway. I'm not working on a real project. Everything is experimental. I'm just working on a sample and building it up and trying to help people who are out here on YouTube to learn what I learned how to do on my own time at my house location, or house office, home office location. So what we're going to do, we're going to change the folder. To do that, you just hit this little folder icon where it says output. And by the way, we're in the scene format area on Blender, or the output properties on Blender. So you see when you go to the different tools that you have on Blender, this is usually on the bottom. I moved it up to the top. Usually up here by default, it's in the outliner. So this would be the outliner. This would be the properties. But I don't like looking in the bottom and having to scroll all the time. So I set this one for something different. That one was set up to be a graph editor, I think. And then this one was set up to be the properties. So in the properties, you want to be in output properties. And you want to scroll down, like I said, set up the frame rate for 30 frames per second. And then output, you go to the output option, scroll down a little bit. And then you go to the folder. Click it, left click it with your left click mouse button. And then you're going to go, I'm going to go into that Atori folder that I created for her, just for this sample animation and lip sync. Double click it, and then in here I'm going to create animations, a folder called animations. because I'm doing multiple tests, obviously. So I want to have a subfolder within her main folder. So we're going to call it animations. And in that one, we're going to call it anim1. Boom. So that way it has some sort of organization. We're going to click accept. And once you've done all of that, now you have it set up to render to that particular folder on your computer. So you can go to that folder if you want ahead of time or whatever, just to see where it's set at. So I got anim1 and it's going to be in this folder. So 3D objects, Blender subfolder, animation subfolder, Atori anim subfolder, then animation subfolder, anim1. I like to play around with the keywords like that just to basically create an organization for myself. So redundancy is possible in subfolders if you want, doesn't matter. So we're going to go now to view, viewport render animation, and play it again or hit it again. Now it's going to go and start the animation again. And her eyes do not look like they're animated. So her eyeballs are stuck in one position. So I may have to fix that and then get the eyeballs moving. Let's see what it does. I don't think I turned my head that extreme, but it is what it is. I don't care. We'll see what comes up. It's going to be interesting, to tell you the truth. I just want to see how it sounds, if it actually mimics and it lip syncs perfectly. If I can get this woman voice working, that would be dope, because then I can move on to another phase. Because I've been working on all the different facets of animations already in the background at my house and learning how to create my own animations in general. So this is something of more of a evolution, so to speak. So what I want to also do is challenge myself to use the Apple ARKit in conjunction with my rapid frame technique, which I developed on my own on Blender, and be able to get the facial expressions to really be fully realized. I can go in and do micro expressions and really maybe take a smile and draw it out a little bit more, things like that while she's talking. I can play around and just do small edits or maybe major edits if I choose for the animation, and I think it would be really dope once I get a full-fledged project up and running. So as you can see, the eyeballs are steady in the same position. It doesn't seem like the eyeballs are actually moving much. That's not good. So I may go back in there. I'm just gonna leave it like this for now. I'm not worried about the eyeballs too much. But like I said, you can follow those eyeballs and the rotations and get those to animate as well. It might look a lot better. Actually, I'll stop it at this point. I don't know where it's actually animated to, but we'll see. We'll stop it at that point of reference. And where did it stop? I don't know. So let's go into the folder just to see where it stopped at. Started at 150. It stopped around 335. So the 335th frame, we're going to throw in the eyeballs. Let's do that just for shits and giggles. And let's bring back the head bone, or the bone. I keep saying head bone. Go to pose mode. And then we want to find where the eyes or eye controllers are. I believe these are the eye controllers here. This is the left eye. This is the right eye. Let's go and check these eyes here and see if these eyes are moving. The play button. It's a little motion in there. I actually see it a little bit. Oh, we got the eyelashes as well. See the eyelashes? Well, I think the eyes are blinking. I saw that. So let me hide the head. Go back to object mode. Hide the head. Hit the H key on the keyboard. Let's hide. this eye so we can focus just on this one here. So it does have some animation in it, as you can see with the graph editor. Bring up the graph editor, slide it to the left. So you see all of that. That's a lot of keyframes doing all kinds of stuff in the graph. Actually, this is for the right eye. I don't know if that's the actual right eye though. That's weird. Okay, whatever. So we're going to drag it down and we're going to tie that eye into the bone. So which bone is responsible? Let's see. For that motion. I think this bone is going to rotate. No, it's not moving. Let's try to rotate. That one is moving. How does that work? Hold on. We're going to go to individual origins. Let's see. Rotate. No, that's not supposed to be it. I think this one is it. Rotate. Not getting much motion off of that. How about this one? Let's see. Rotation. Maybe a location. G. That's not even working. I know this one's gonna work. Actually, let me take off automatic keyframes just in case, because I don't want to mess it up. G. Okay, that's working. So individual eye motion should be working too. Why isn't the individual eye motion working? G. No. For some reason it's not working. It's like locked in position. Okay. Let's see what's going on. We're gonna get rid of this, the previous eye positions, and we're going to move it. Let's G going this way. Move it a little bit to the center. Okay. Looks like it's locked in place. It shouldn't be constrained to anything. Okay, move it. See what it does. All right. Let's go back to the beginning, and we will just tie it to one eye. We have that selected, the middle selected, and we'll create a follow constraint. Let's go to the bone constraint. Why is it limited? I don't know. I never had to do this, by the way, folks. So we'll copy rotation. And then hold on 1 second. Bring us to the 3D empty. Do the eyedropper and select the eye. Now let's see what it does. Hit the play button. I think it's working now. All right, so we'll do it from here. We're starting from 335 to 1350. We're going to create a transition, I guess, because now it's a different viewport display. So my animation is going to transition in to a different position on the screen. maybe have a looking like this. Like that. And let's drag this out. And we'll do view, viewport animation. Actually, hold on 1 second. Control spacebar just to see what it looks like. Control alternate spacebar. Okay. There we go. We're good. So now we're going to go to view, viewport render animation. Let me double check the starting point. We're starting at 335. There we go. So this whole process could be grueling. It could be very, very daunting. Sorry about that. I had the yawn. I'm kind of tired. Didn't really get a full night's sleep, but it's all good. It could be a daunting process depending on your render settings. Like I said, if you're doing test renders, just render an Eevee, drop down your viewport all the way down, and just do a viewport render so you could just see what it looks like. Because obviously you just want to see where you want to place the lip sync at. You don't want the full render right now because you don't want to render errors. You don't want to go into a long drawn out daunting process of rendering and then get an end product that looks crappy. So test rendering is really, really key. So that's what we're doing now. This may take a little bit longer in the process of it, but obviously you saw what I did. Everything was off of the Apple ARKit. Wasn't really that complicated to process, and using the FaceCap app. You did not see the FaceCap app obviously, but that process is very simple as well. The whole difficult part would probably be you trying to figure out how to transfer the file over to an external source, which is to your computer through the web browser. So that's why I use Google Drive to make that seamless process easier. So that helps in the animation pipeline, so to speak, where you're transferring files from one tool to the next tool to the next tool. That's where the whole pipeline thing comes in. When they talk about animation pipeline, they generally are meaning that you're transitioning the file from one form to another form. So, or files. It could be multiple files that you're using in conjunction with your 3D model. And all of the 3D models tied together are connected to multiple files themselves, or subfiles. It can be a whole bunch of files that build up the 3D model, so to speak. So the human generator add-on was responsible for creating her. Let's move over to that part of the live stream so you can see where I got the human generator add-on from. I believe I have it in the screen already. No, not there. Not there. That's a different tool. Here it is. On Blender Market, we got the human generator version 3. You can get it as a $68 personal / portfolio use, or you can get it as a $128 commercial use. I recommend if you're doing it in commercial projects, maybe you're creating a short film or video games or things like that, that require commercial usage, you want to get the commercial use license, which is $128. If you're doing it for personal use and like you're learning stuff, like you're doing it on your own computer, or you're creating YouTube videos like for how to like this, 9 times out of 10 you can get away with using the personal use one, because you're not trying to utilize it in a commercial manner. Obviously it's also protected by fair use, which is educational videos are generally protected by fair use, unless you don't actually teach anything and you're not actually providing educational value, but you're trying to protect yourself using the fair use. You don't want to do that. You want to actually teach something. You want to actually show people how to do stuff in your video if you're trying to hide behind the fair use clause or whatever for educational use. But there really is no hiding behind it if you do it the wrong way. People will see it and notice it and call you out on it, tell you what you did wrong. And if they don't tell you, you'll find out with the YouTube strike, copyright strike, And even then, you still could get a copyright strike. So if you did not do anything right in your video or videos, whatever format that you try to create that footage, and you didn't go the right directions by these differing licensing, then you're going to end up getting yourself into troubled waters. So I just wanted to put that out there. But this is the human generator add-on. The developer, let's see if we can get to the developer page, but you can go to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram to get to his stuff. I think it's off his website, obviously. So it's, I believe, J. Oliver. Hold on one second. What is this? Oliver J. Post. That's what it is. So Oliver J. Post is the developer. I don't know him personally. I never met him or anything like that. Didn't even contact him. But this is all of his contact information if you want to do that to find out more about the human generator add-on. But it is something that's pretty powerful, and it's allowing me to do what I'm doing now on Blender with the animations, the Apple ARKit, pretty much everything that you can imagine that a 3D model can pull off as a human, it can do. It's pretty powerful. So there you go with that. And her animation is still going. So I didn't expect to do that long of an animation for her. I just wanted to do a small test segment. But this should be good enough to add to the audio. So let's go and check and see where it's at. So currently it is all the way at 800. So we'll let it go to 900, and then we'll go in and look how fast the files are being created. These are image files, by the way, folks. I believe they're PNG images. So let me right click, open with, and go to Paint so you can see that. Microsoft Paint is a good way to show you, but I believe it's a PNG image. Yeah. And you also could right click and look up the properties to see. So it's a PNG file. So how Blender works with animation, it basically will draw out all of the moves of every single frame. So all the keyframes or in between frames. So whenever you have a keyframe stored on the screen, all the in-betweens will also be animated. It'll be micro transitions from one keyframe to the next. If say you try to create a separation between the keyframes of maybe 10, 20 or more, could be 5 keyframes, but you'll have an auto transition. So it will go in and animate between. So that's the thing about Blender. It's pretty powerful with animation. And every time you see the head move like small little clicks, that means that it's taking a shot, like a screenshot of the image internally on Blender, and then it's sending it to that external location on that file folder that you designated to send it at. So all those moves, all these animatable movements in a digital format or in a CGI format, which is known as computer generated imagery, that's basically what it's doing. It's manipulating image and graphic. So it's going in and recreating the pixels in multiple positional locations, rotations on the screen. And then it's taking that image and sending it to the file. So you're literally seeing it become a file as we go along. Look at it, it went over to 1,000 that fast. So actually I'll stop it at 1,000. Let's do that. We'll hit the X up here in the upper right corner. Should be able to stop your render as long as your render isn't moving super slow. If it's moving super slow, I don't recommend for you to try to stop it unless you want to ruin the integrity of the Blender project that you're running. If you already saved it, then probably you could just end the project itself to stop the render. Because if it's moving so slow, it's going to freeze up your computer if you try to stop the render. I don't know why it does that, but that's what happens on my computer. So let's minimize. Right here, this is the Blender Viewport and the Blender tools. The other screen was a render screen that shows up whenever you try to render. Whether you're rendering in the viewport or not, it's going to try to create that render screen. So let's see. Now we got that. We got all the way up to 1,000. So from 150 to 1017. So you can kind of subtract 1017 from 150 to see the full length of frames that you have. So this should be good enough. I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it over to the video editor as a image sequence. So we're going to start with the 150 frame and end it at the 1017 frame on that other version of Blender that we have open, or other iteration, I should say. So we're going to bring up this one. Remember, we put this audio in there, the WAV file. So we're going to go to add. This time we're going to add it as an image sequence. Now we have to find that folder. That's why it's important to organize your folders. So we're going to find the folder that we put it in. It's in Atori, Anim, Animations subfolder, then the Anim1 subfolder. So here we're going to hit the A key on the keyboard to select all. So the A key on the keyboard is a fast select. Allows you to select all of the image sequence, all the way down to 1000. And then we're going to type in 150. Actually, from here, yeah, we'll type in 150. I don't know if we have to start at 150 though. Now this might not work, by the way, because we're starting at 150. So we may need the other keyframes as well. So don't quote me on this in terms of it working, because the way that Blender's video editor works with sequences, it generally will have to start at the first keyframe because it starts in numerical order. So this may not work, we'll see, but we're going to put here 150 to 1017. Maybe if I adjust this part here, it will take into effect based on the amount of keyframes that I put in the start keyframe, but we'll see. And then let's see, view, transform, placeholder, scale, fit. We don't have to worry about anything else. We're going to add image strip. And as you can see, it ends right here. That's what I meant by, I'm not sure how long it is, but we're not worried about that. Now we're just going to see if it plays. Hit the play button.
Hey folks, we are testing the Apple ARKit over on Blender through the human generator add-on.
Okay, hold on. If you noticed, it actually did something. But the reason why that happened is because it's a little bit adjusted offset. So probably because I moved the playhead, it placed it where I moved it at. So we have to move this in line. Now let's try to zoom in and see exactly where I placed it to see if it's a good position. So it looks like they're both gonna start in the right position. So let's try it now.
Hey folks, we are testing the Apple ARKit over on Blender through the human generator add-on content. Hey folks, we are
good.
testing.
So that's working. See that? So one thing I might have to do is go in and try to eliminate a small segment, like that small, of the audio, because in the beginning I started with a little stutter. It wasn't really the exact position. So let's see.
Hey folks, we are testing the Apple ARKit over on Blender through the human generator add-on content.
Perfect. So now that's synchronized. The lip sync is perfect. I think it's perfect. So what we're gonna do now is go in from that point, and this is set at 24 frames per second, by the way. This is basically the render. So when I'm ready to render this animation, is basically going to animate as well as store the lip sync. So it's going to tie the animation to the lip sync and make it one render. So if I want, I could set this at 24 frames per second, or I could set it at any other frames per second, and everything will synchronize based on the newer frames per second that I set. This is not what these sequences are set at. The image sequence is already set at 30 frames per second, which I did animate it at. And the audio is set at its original timing. I don't know what frames per second it was set for, probably 30 based on the FaceCap app, like I was saying before. So you don't have to worry about that as long as you synchronize them together. Whatever you send it out as an output, see, I'm back in the output properties, it's gonna align it with where you want to send it out to. So whatever frames per second you're choosing to send it out to, that's up to you. So while you're in the video editor, you have to reset your output again. So we're going to set this up for a NIM1 in the Tori main folder. But actually, we will go back one step and set it right next to a NIM1. And we'll probably just create in a NIM2 for it. That way it's separate from the other file folder. Click accept. And this is not a finished product. This is just a test sample. All right, so we got that. And we want to cut the audio short at a certain point. So let's see what we wanted to say. Oh, and also we want to designate a certain length for the keyframe. So right now it's starting at 1 in the video editor and ending at 250 by default. So we want to reset that, and let's set it at like 900. I don't know, just so you can get it somewhere towards the tail end of the. Is this the audio? No, this is not the audio. This is the animation that I created. So we're going to set this to, let's scroll it back a little bit around there. So you can actually scroll it. See that? Scrolling it back and forth. Now I got it at 867 keyframe. So the full length is 1 to 867. And we just discovered that we can actually pull off what I didn't know we could do, which is I can animate it from any number keyframe starting from whatever number to whatever number. All right, so we're going to drag this one over here by left clicking it and dragging it in and making sure, let's make sure that the full length of the audio is there. So you have to zoom in using the mouse scroll wheel and bring it to its full length. There we go. So now we just got to synchronize that to have the full length. And that's it. So now we can animate this very fast, very rapidly. In Eevee, by the way, so it's in Eevee. I don't think the render engine really matters when you're in the video editor, because it's just going to render whatever you put in the image sequence and audio. So let's hit the back arrow just for shits and giggles, and we're going to go to render and render animation. And remember, it's going to go to that folder, and the animation is going to go super fast because everything's already done for it. It doesn't have to animate the pixels. Doesn't have to reproduce on the screen all the different shadows and the lighting and whatever you have in your 3D scene. It's not going to do all that. It's just moving the image sequence as more like a flipbook or slideshow, and it's programming the audio into it. Now, one thing I did wrong, which I'm going to delete all these image files. I'm reproducing image files, by the way, by default. That I don't want. Let's hit the X. I forgot to tell you that. You don't want to create another image sequence. So to avoid that, oh, actually I didn't. To avoid it, yours is probably not going to be set up by default how mine is. Yours is probably going to be in JPEG or PNG. So it's going to be like this in your output. So where it says output and where you change your folder, you're going to go under it and change the file format to a movie type. If you have a Mac computer, it's going to be AVI JPEG or AVI RAW. If it's not a Mac computer, you're going to go for FFmpeg video. This is going to create an MP4 file 9 times out of 10 as a video file type. So you have that, and that should be good. Now mine, I screwed it up. Let's see. A NIM2. I stopped it at 868. But that doesn't matter because I just want to see how it sounds and how it looks. We're going to go in and then go to video, media, player or whatever media player that you can play it on and see it.
Hey folks, we are testing the Apple ARKit over on Blender through the Human Generator add-on, and I think this is going to be pretty interesting. We're trying to get a female voice and moving around playing with the head of a character, just trying to do all kinds of different things, trying to see what will happen. We want to get the facial expressions to play around as well and see how it sounds. This is just...
There we go. So it worked. And pretty much that ends the live stream. But I just wanted y'all folks to see there's amazing stuff you can do. From that point on, now it's about being creative. Because once you figure out and you constructed that pipeline, you got your 3D pipeline created, now it's a matter of repeating and duplicating that process of all those steps I just showed y'all. Not really that complicated, not really that hard, but it's a matter of knowing where to go and what to do at what juncture in time. You know, so if you don't know exactly what to do, it's because you didn't puzzle all the things in over the years or whatever amount of time it took for you to learn on Blender, and whatever 3D knowledge that you have in on your digital belt. You maybe don't have all the different knowledge bases together and where they converge. So knowledge from this point and that point and that point will add up together and then converge to you being able to understand how to manipulate, how to transfer files, how to move stuff, how to convert stuff, etc. And where you should place things in conjunction with whatever tool you're using. So all of that stuff, it took me some years to figure out on Blender. But once over time I figured out stuff, even though I'm not a 3D modeler or a 3D artist 100%, I'm still in training and a lot of these things. I kind of understand pretty much how it works. You just have to have a model that's ready to be animated. Once you got the model that's ready to be animated, you have to have the blend shapes to work out for the FaceCap app. If you don't have the blend shapes and you didn't do it manually, then you have to have something that's automated, obviously. So the Human Generator add-on provides everything. So it cuts down on time. It's so much stuff that you would have had to learn if you didn't have the Human Generator add-on. So that's why I'm showing y'all folks, you really want that tool. That tool is powerful if you don't know 3D animation / 3D modeling. This is a pipeline that is seamless that anybody can learn and can do. But if you don't know Blender, obviously you have to learn the basics to Blender as well, because then you won't be able to go in and out of object mode to pose mode, and then using the Blender navigation on the screen, you won't understand why you're doing something that someone's showing you. So it's going to take time to build up that knowledge as well. But I'm just talking to people who are brand new to Blender, have no idea how to use it, and they have no idea what they're doing at all. And maybe they want to, jump in this stuff and try to figure it out. Maybe you're trying to create an avatar for, like, not even your live streams, but maybe you're trying to do VTubing and you want to create a cool avatar for VTubing. That's up to you. Hold on one second, I got a call. I'll be right back, and I'm going to pause or shut off the audio for a second. All right, so I'm back. All right, so here we go. What else was I saying? I totally forgot what I was saying, but it's okay. I think I provided enough information for folks to pretty much understand the gist of what I was getting out. I was getting out about, if you're brand new, to 3D animation, 3D modeling, the human generator add-on is no joke. I'll bring you back to the screen to get it, but you definitely want to try this out if you don't know how to animate and how to model. And even if you know how to animate and model, you want to really get good at animation. Say you don't know how to animate that well, this add-on will help you to improve your animation skills. So that's what I've been doing. If you look at my channel, right, I've been really scaling out. This is not it. This is the guy that I featured here, Rick Caught. Check out his channel if you want to learn animation. He knows it to a high degree. My channel, let's see my channel. Here it is. So my channel, if you look at my channel, a lot of things that I've been doing is because of the human generator add-on. Most of the videos that I've been creating has the human generator add-on built in. Like, I have these characters and they're helping me to learn animation because I don't know how to 3D model myself a full model. I know the process to some degree overall, but I never really went through it. I chose not to go through it. I chose not to go to a school for animation. I chose not to do this. I chose not to do that because I really believed that at one point in time I could learn it without doing all that stuff. And now I actually can. So I succeeded in bypassing all the different things that held most people back, held me back at one point. And now I got these tools that do it automated. Now I also had a tool that was helping me in the past, but I wasn't able to fully realize my animation goals and in understanding the animations and things like that. I was using the tool known as Make Human, but it got me to a certain point where I learned Blender and I learned how to use everything that I know now today in Blender. I also use this other tool known as Mixamo. So let's go over there real quick because Mixamo may actually go away soon. So I just want y'all folks to see something that helped me with animation. This tool known as Mixamo, it's a tool, but it's also a way for you to gain assets that maybe you don't know of or you don't have access to. So you can go in, you can log in. You got to create a Adobe account because this tool is owned by Adobe. Previously, it was owned by another third-party software developer / company known as Mixamo. So let's go in. Adobe bought them out just like Apple did with the Apple ARKit. And yeah, that's what they do. Big companies buy out stuff and then eventually they shut it down if they want to. What Adobe did, they bought out Mixamo, and recently they came up with a survey and made us think that they're going to get rid of it, possibly. I don't know what they're going to do with it. Hopefully they don't get rid of it. But with this, you can get pre-configured animations, which is basically motion capture files that's placed onto an online repository. So it's a file repository, so you can go in and, or also known as a content farm, and it has tons of animations, tons of pre-programmed animations that you can go in and you can view. Right now they're not playing because I have it set up where it's not going to play. But you can go in and you can change that. Animate the thumbnails, and now they're all animating. But I get tired of that. I don't want to see all the animations no more. I already know what the animations do. Been using it for years and years and years, so I pretty much know what they all do. So I shut off the animations and I just go in and pick what I want. Say I wanted this one, make sure I have a model built in, and then it goes in and performs the animation on the screen. This is just a sample. It's not the full animation. So you want the full animation, you have to hit download. When you click download, what it does, it creates an option for you to come up with a binary FBX file. So that's why I was telling you about the binary thing. You can also create an ASCII, but it won't work on Blender. There goes the ASCII binary code, and this is the Blender binary code version. So you can go with skin, without skin, that's up to you. I recommend with skin, and don't change any of this stuff. You can go with the frames per second. You can change that to whatever frames per second you want, 24, 30, or it could be 60. And then click download. After you do that, it creates an export. So an outbound file export, you can take this and import it wherever you want. That has a 3D asset software detection like Blender. So if it can detect the FBX file, that software, that 3D software that you're choosing to use, then you can move it over and you can see the animation and also possibly manipulate the animation. That also includes these cloud-based AI motion capture software. So I've been able to use this software, this tooling, and this these FBX files to play around and see what I can do with them. So I go into animations, play it around, put it somewhere in there, I don't know, in my subfolders, bring it to Blender, and then I can play around with this character along with whatever animations I built in with her. So it can be tied together, it can be pretty much in conjunction with it. Let's move it to this character, right? Say this character, she's half dressed or whatever, that doesn't matter. Make sure she's dressed if you're creating a YouTube video, obviously. And she's not nude, or he's not nude, whatever. Let's just finalize the creation just so I could add some clothes. Just want to show y'all folks real quick something. Now that's not working. That's why I chose not to use that model. That particular version, I believe version 3.1 of Blender, or it might be 3.2. I'm not sure which version of Blender this is that I have set up. Not working with the human generator add-on at this moment in time, so it keeps once I go to finalize, it's not working. But whatever the case may be, I'll leave her in the screen like that, and we'll go to, let's see, open it. Let's try to open something that I worked on in the past. Try this one. He don't got no clothes either. I want to find something that has clothes. Gosh darn it. Try this one, dude. All right, this guy got clothes. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. So say I wanted to bring it in with this guy, right? I go to File, go to Import, go to FBX. Doesn't have to be with anybody, but I'm just bringing it in just for shits and giggles. We're going to go to the location where I added the character and import. Sometimes you're going to have to go down to this armature option in the bottom right corner and then go to automatic bone orientation depending on how the bones look. The bones are looking weird. Choose that and that'll fix it. So go to import. I'm just going to fix it automatically because I think the bones come in weird. Alright, so there goes the character. He's very small in comparison to this character. Let's scale this guy down. Maybe they could fight each other. I don't know. I'm not going to have them fight because I don't like fighting too much. I don't think the world should be in war and all that. So, how would you say? In the name of peace and justice, let's let these guys not fight. All right, let's try that. I'm just messing around. So let's bring him down. Instead, one is going to be dancing, and the other one, I don't know if he has any animations. But just to show y'all folks, if you wanted, you can bring in some different characters and tie in different animations together. It's going to take you some time to figure out how to manipulate the animations from one tool to the next tool and the next tool, etc. But once you figure out how to work that stuff with Blender, then you can do a lot of different things. There you go. There goes the animation. He's jumping around. And I got the other guy animating too, I think. A little bit. Actually, I got his mouth moving because that's what I programmed him to do. He's doing some sort of a facial animation. I don't know, whatever. I was just playing around with this guy and trying to create something different. He looked like he got paint on him. Let's X this out. Just wanted to show y'all folks, there's more stuff you can do depending on the tools that you have. Even though you don't know animation 100% yourself, you can go in and you can learn how to bring other things together that could help you automate the process. And so maybe you can bypass a lot of the learning phases that I did. How I bypassed a lot of stuff, like I didn't learn animation from scratch until recently. I've been learning recently how to do it. But when I first started, I had to depend on Mixamo. Now I'm getting to the point where I'm able to actually understand how to animate manually. So I'm able to do that. And I'm also able to be able to create something like this that you see here using what is known as my rapid frame technique. I can do a lot of different things. If y'all folks want to learn animation basics, like the very, very lowest level, definitely check out my live streams, because I try to gear people in who are brand new from the beginning of the live stream all the way throughout the whole live stream. That's why I make them so long. That's why I make them 2 hours to 3 hours long. That way anybody can learn it and you won't have too many roadblocks blocking you. As long as you're using something like a human generator add-on, you can use Mixamo animations or characters from Mixamo. You can go and get characters and just get the basic character model and bring it over to Blender. You don't have to have the human generator add-on to do that. But the human generator add-on will bring you the ability to animate the face. On Mixamo, there's no face rig. So these characters don't have a face rig. So say you was using this character just to test around and play around and work with your animation skills, you won't get any rig to make the face shapes change. So keep that in mind. It just will be for you to learn how to move the arms, the legs, and things like that. So if say you wanted to download the character, you go to download. You can download just the T-pose if you wanted to. I believe, where is the T-pose? Question. You can download just the T-pose. Let's just type in T-pose, because it should come up an option for it there, but it's not bringing the option. Let's do that. Actually, it's not bringing it up because we're in characters. I forgot about that. So go to animations. Let's X this out. Search, and then let's try to download now. Let's see what it does. Still the same thing. All right. So let's try T-pose here. T-pose. Search. And there goes the T-pose there. So we select that. And then we can just move this T-pose in. It's not an actual animation. It's just a pose. We go to download. Do the same process. The power of having just the T-pose is that you can go in and animate everything from scratch. So we go save. Bring this guy in. Open another version of Blender. We'll get rid of everything here. Select all, delete. And I'm not worried about the settings or how I have everything set up. Just try to ignore that. I have this set up for motion capture and creating all kinds of different project stuff for video creation or film creation. Trying to become more advanced in what I know how to do, basically, despite the fact that I'm not an artist, a 3D artist or a 3D modeler. I'm actually an artist in the real world because I know how to draw, but drawing in 3D is not the same. You would have to sculpt everything in 3D if you was an artist out of your references of your drawings that you did. Or you can sculpt it from scratch, but I don't know if that's going to come out really, really good looking unless you're really skilled at it. So to start from scratch and start doing it, that takes a lot of skill or talent or creativity. Let's go to File, Import, FBX, bring that in, T-pose, Import. There we go. Now we got the character in the screen. It got 0 animations. How do you create animations? See, so you start out with this. So how do you go from this to having an animation? Well, you have to learn the basics, which is understanding how Blender works with animation. You go with the bones, You go to pose mode. Straight from object mode, you switch to pose mode as long as you select it on the main bone. And then from pose mode, you can start to play around. But if you don't see all the bones, you have to figure out how to bring up the bones. Let me bring up one of the modules so we can manipulate that. We change this module to properties. And hold on one second. Why isn't it switching to properties? Oh, okay, it is properties. Here we go. And then we go to this little man icon. You see this little man icon? I'm going to select that little man icon, which is basically bringing up the armature. You go to Viewport Display, drag it down where you have the Viewport Display open. You go to In Front. So it brings the bones into the front of the 3D mesh. Another way you could have done it is probably hide the mesh. But if you hide the mesh, all you're going to see is the bones. So you could hit the mesh and hit the H key while you're in object mode though. You have to be in object mode. You select the mesh and hit the H key and then the bones will show. You don't want that. You know what I'm saying? There's probably another way, but I don't know of it. Alternate H will bring the mesh back. So you want to actually see the mesh while you're animating the bones, so you can see where you're sending the mesh to, obviously. Unless you're really like super talented and then you don't need to see the mesh, but pretty much you want to see the mesh. So you select the main bones, as you see the bones highlighted, go to pose mode, and then from pose mode now you can play around and start to move different bones or joints. You can rotate. You can take the arm, the hand, hit the R twice and then play around. The R is for rotate on the keyboard. Hit it a single time and then you can just go off a specific axis. Things like that. I'm using the keyboard, hitting the R key. You rotate the head bone. So this is the basics to animation on Blender. And this is not like a big time rig and anything. Now if you want to store the keyframes basically store, like I showed y'all folks, once you set up a render location, it's going to store all of the data of each move that you make and also the in-between points. So they're going to be image files that's going to be created for this character. So right now the character only has 2 frames. Let's see. So 2 keyframes. And this was created by the Mixamo developers. So whoever created it for Mixamo, it came up with the T-pose. So if I hit this back arrow, this is going to be erased. So everything that I did here is going to go away because I didn't create a keyframe for it. If you don't have a keyframe, it's not going to store all the motions that you created. So you have to create keyframes for wherever positions you move it to, and transitional moves if you want to move them. So how you do that, you move it to a playhead position. So see how it did not store it, it just went back to the default T-pose. I'm going to go to edit and undo and bring it back. Well, the head obviously did not store. Reason why is because it just is not going to work. Obviously, the playhead is all the way at 1440 in the position. So what you can do is highlight the bones and probably copy the pose. So you'd have to go to pose, copy pose, something like that, and then that will store it temporarily. So say that was the position I wanted it. We'll go to pose, copy pose. Actually, highlight all the bones because you want all the bones to be copied. Copy pose, that would be the full pose, and then we'll move the playhead and it will snap out of it. So now if you want to paste that pose in a new position, now you have to figure out, where do you want your transition to be? Do you want it to start at that particular pose? Do you want to get rid of the T pose? What do you want it to do? Because now you're the creator, obviously. You have the direction. You're the director of the film. You're the director of the animated short or whatever you want to do. You want to tell Blender where you want to start it at. So I don't want to start in the T pose, so let's delete this. Delete those keyframes. Move over to the 1 frame, not the 0 frame. My timeline is starting from 1 to whatever. Let's set it to 500. So that's the full length of my keyframes that I want, from 1 to 500 on the timeline. And now I want to set a keyframe here, but I want that pose to be pasted in. So let's go to pose and try to paste pose. So it pastes the pose. Now the pose is in, but it's not stored as a keyframe. So we set automatic keyframing for all the bones. Basically, when you have automatic keyframing, it's going to store the keyframe for all the bones if you have all the bones selected. And whatever it does, you choose to make a move for, it's going to change that particular move. So if I want to make a move for the head, right, and just rotate it slightly, just a small fraction of a move, that fractional move is going to be stored, as well as everything that previously was set. You see? So now that T pose is gone, and now all we got is that pose that we wanted. So now, say I wanted to transition to like the 5th frame or the 10th frame, whatever frame you want to transition to, you can transition, and the in-between frames are also going to be stored. So what I mean by that is, we'll hit the double R, move it, rotate it wherever we want to move it, and we'll hit one single R, so we don't want a full rotation. We just want to just move it slightly on its axis, and maybe move the hand, single R as well. And then this one would be double R, RR, and then just rotate it freely like that, smartly. So now if you go back, you'll see the transition. You should be able to see the transition of the keyframes. The reason why it's not showing the transition is because you didn't make a start keyframe for those particular bones. So what you want to do is save this, store it as a copy pose, and then you want to go back. We hit edit, undo, edit, undo, edit, undo, and go back to the previous stated condition. That way you can fix everything that you did not, or you neglected to do. So, because when you're first starting with animation, you may not realize you have to have a start, even if you're at a certain set keyframe. So our start is this one, but for each of the bones, it wasn't designated where they should start. So to avoid from having an issue with that, let's start around the 5th frame instead of the 10th. If you're doing from 0 to 10, we'll start at the 5th frame and put in what is known as a Lockrot scale. So it's going to create a location rotation scale for every single bone and joint. So we'll go pose, animation, insert keyframe, and do Lockrot scale, or you can do location and rotation. What that does is initiate and lock down a keyframe for all of them. So it's a stored initiation point. So that means that it's going to all start here. So the transition will arrive from this point of reference. We also can take it and drag it back. Hold on one second. We select it and drag it back, and we can start it right around this keyframe. So the 1 keyframe, this is the 2 keyframe. Since they are identical, it's not much of a difference in the transition. So now from the 2 keyframe all the way to 10, that's what the transition is going to be. We're going to go pose, and then we're going to paste that previous move and I made a error in not storing every single bone that I chose. So I only copied just the rotation of this one. We're gonna have to reproduce all the other ones freehand. Which is okay. You can do all of that. Actually, I just did a regular rotation on this one. So boom, there goes that. So now let's go back and see the transition. See, now it's going to transition the keyframes because you put up and stored an initial position, even though the reference started at 1, but that reference is not enough for all the other bones to know what to do. So you're telling it, you're programming Blender to say, start at this reference point at 1 or at 2, and then the in-between frames will transition to where you wanted it to land at. So it's gonna do like a frame by frame move and swing it. Now when you try to render this, it may move too fast because you don't know the separation between keyframes and based on how much your frame rate is set at. So if your frame rate is set at a very slow frame rate, then the transition may look good. It may look okay. But if it's set at a very fast frame rate, it's going to show a super fast swing. So it's going to look like a blip. It may not even be something recognizable. So a good example would be, let's do a test render in the viewport. Even with the bones showing, we don't care. We'll just do it with the bones showing. So we'll do view, viewport, render animation, and see what it did. See, so that's pretty much it. And the default for that is at the TMP folder. It's not in a specific folder because I didn't designate where to send it at. So I'm gonna have to go to my C drive and go to the TMP folder, which is the default folder for Blender. And this is all the animations that it created. It went up to 43. I have some previous ones in there that I don't want. I'm gonna delete all those. So you might notice that you never knew how to change the output folder location. You're gonna have tons of stuff in here. Tons of things in there if you was playing around with animations for rendering. So now it's in there. Let's go to render and go to view animation. This is gonna go dig in and then show what it is. See how fast it is? Now that's because of your render settings, why it's moving so quick. So in order to change that and adjust that, you have to go to frame rate. So let's go back. We're gonna adjust the frame rate. So we have the frame rate at 30 frames per second. Let's drop it down to make a custom frame rate and drop it down to about 20 frames per second. See how fast that is. So we got to render again in the viewport. So we go to view, render animation, and then hit the X because we already know what we created. We're gonna go view animation. Still moving fast, but it's actually a little bit slower than the previous one. Let's slow it down even more. We're gonna drop it down to 10. Let's run. Actually, if you view the animation, it should slow it down as well. Let's try that. Yeah, so actuality, the frame rate is more responsive to your viewing of it. So you probably don't have to re-render it because all those frames are going to be the same, I believe. So let's drop it down to 1 frame per second. This is the way that I figure out all this stuff on Blender. I start playing with these settings and trying to see what I could do. Look how slow it's moving now. So pretty much the frame rate is responsive to you viewing the actual render. It's not 100% responsive to where you position the keyframes. Now, when you're doing like something like the rapid frame technique that I've been showing folks how to do, that is something of a viewport thing. So you can view the movement of the actual frame rates slowing down so that you can go and animate them manually. What I do is I slow down. I take this frame per second in this custom thing and I break the base down. So I go like 100, set it at 100, and it breaks it down to 0.01 frames per second. So it makes it very, very slow. But let's set it at 10. What it is this frame rate is equivalent to the frames per second divided by the base. So basically you can go under 1 frame per second. So when you do that and you hit the play, it slows down time drastically. So in the viewport, you're seeing it move very, very slow. When you see it move that slow, you can really manipulate the keyframes, and also you can manipulate the keyframes when it's in automatic keyframing. So you can auto key it very, very, very accurately, or you can just do it manually. So say I wanted to move the head, hit the I key on the keyboard, and then I go into change the rotation, and it will create a rotation keyframe. Let me take it off of automatic keyframing. We'll rotate in the Z direction like that. And then at whatever transition point that I want it to transition to, I could have it do that. Let's have it go to like, hold on 1 second. Scroll this down. My throat is having a little issue. So say I wanted to rotate it all the way towards the left. We'll wait until it goes to a certain keyframe, right? Or we can left click it, doesn't matter. And then it's still moving, right? So we do R, Z, and then rotate it, select I, rotation, and that creates the keyframe there. So that's manually doing it. So now let's go back and see what it did. See, so it created that transition. You can do it like that manually while the playhead is moving, but it gives you time to figure out what you want to create in terms of the animation. So you got time to do it. Now, if you do automatic keyframing, you have a little bit more play as well, but now you don't have to go in and manually hit the I key, go in and rotate and do all of that. Now it's automatic. So you hit the double R, say you wanted to rotate freely like that, and figure out where you want it to land at. When it moves, it's going to create a new keyframe. So the rotation is going to be rapid. If you move all the way from here to there, it's going to be a rapid rotation. So right now I don't have the playhead playing. Let me go back. So we're going to hit the play. Now the playhead's playing. Double R, move it. And I don't know where I want to move it to. Now you can also time your, I'll hit the left click mouse button there. You can time where you want to position everything. Like you can really like detail where you want to position things and time it. So you can change your base so it moves faster, or your frames per second so it moves faster. So when you're rotating the actual head, it is actually jotting down each frame. You wanted to do it like that, but then you would have to be very accurate as to how you're sketching out the animation, because then you'll have to figure out a good sweet spot between your frames per second as well as the playhead. May not work out exactly identically the way you want it. May be offset by a lot. Right now it's moving. It was over here on the 24th frame or 23rd frame. Now it's already at 28 because I'm still talking, and the duration of time is passing. But as you see, the playhead's not moving that fast. So it gives you time to manipulate and think ahead of time, so you can go in and just keep moving, rotating on the screen, figuring out which bone you want to move. And by then it moved already to another position. So now say I wanted to rotate this part of the arm or this part of the arm, single click, I'll use it in the Y direction, or I'll do the X direction. select there, and then go all the way back to see where the transitions are. The reason why I jump like that is because I have a keyframe for it. So we're going to delete that one. We'll see a smooth transition. See that? Boom. So you don't want keyframes to be too close to each other while you're doing this, or you'll get some really crazy, funky transitions. Now, if you do create keyframes super close to each other, you want to have micro moves. So micro moves means you're moving it click by click, like very small clicks, like that, like one by one. Now, keep in mind, if your playhead is moving too fast and you have keyframes in between, it's going to try to jump itself back to the path that it was supposed to be programmed to go. So you may not be able to create keyframes that well while you're in the play position, or while you're playing the move, because it's trying to catch up to the stored location, rotation, or scale that you positioned it. So it wouldn't be smart to do it in between frames. You want to do it after your last previous keyframe. So the rapid frame technique pertains mostly to after you already created a keyframe, not before. So all the before keyframes, if you go in between, you got to be super fast to correct it if that's the case. That's where you would have to slow down the movement. You have to go all the way down to like 0.01, fix things in between frames, in between the keyframes. You wanted to do it like that. That way it gives you so much time. You can go in and really quickly figure out what you want to fix, correct it, make that move, hit the left click mouse button, and then it's corrected, and now you bounce out before it actually moves and change keyframes. You can do that. So that was just a little tip for folks brand new to animation. You can learn a lot just by playing around and manipulating, but the average person wouldn't know that they had that ability to do it. They'd probably figure out that they could hit the playhead and use the automatic keyframes, but then keyframes would end up being too close. You don't know how to play around with the frame rate side of things for rendering. So this is the only part that would be part of the formula to add to somebody brand new. Because when I first got to Blender, I learned how to use the playhead and the automatic keyframing and to try to create keyframes, and it was just all over the place. So when I tried to render it, the character was just going nuts. Like, you saw janky movements in every direction all over. It was just scattered, and that doesn't look good. So I couldn't figure out how to make that look good because I did not have it slow down like this. Now you know, and knowing is half the battle. Hopefully that helped you if you're brand new, and you can come up with your own format for it, come up with your own name for your technique. But you want to set this frame rate very low if you're playing around like that with the playhead in its play motion with automatic keyframing. But like I said, you can do it manually, but it takes a lot of time to figure out how to get those manual things to go. So you hit the I key on the keyboard, it brings up all these animatable functions, but what is the next function after that you have to do? So if you want a location or rotation or scale or all of them, you have to select them all at once. If you want all of them for that particular bone, then it's going to designate that bone to do that particular function at that moment in time. Then it will activate a keyframe as soon as you select it. So if you don't want that bone to be stored there, don't store it. Don't use the eye, and don't select location, rotation, scale, or all of them at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't want it there, don't store it. Don't create the keyframe there. And that's it. It's somewhat simple, but it could be complicated if you allow your brain to make it more difficult than it is. Like I did with myself for the whole 3 years of learning animation on Blender. I overlooked the simplicity to it. But other than that, that ends the session. Live stream is over. Joy, love, and peace to all. Mike Pugh signing off. Hopefully y'all learned as much as possible. I'm going to create more videos on this covering this subject. I'm going to try to make them short and sweet. That way it's not so much information, but I want to give you more information than less, as I am the virtual Intel content creator I'm giving you as much intelligence as you can gain and know from start to finish of my live stream. And that's what I'm targeting. I'm not trying to be like a quick Minuteman type of a YouTuber who comes up with videos that lacks so much information. You get everything super fast and then it's done. Like, who's going to learn from that? Not many people will learn from that besides the advanced users that already know how to use the tool and the software. You know what I mean? So that's my point. Learning takes time, and it took me years to figure out this stuff. So now, to produce high quality results, if you want to generate high quality results, you want to take your time, obviously. You don't want to fast forward into everything, and then you have no idea how to get it started in between what you need to know. But other than that, I'm out of here. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to hit the thumbs up. Feel free to send this video through the social stratosphere everywhere if you feel it's going to benefit other people. And I am out. Peace.